Sometimes a problem ends externally, but continues internally. The conversation is over. The email was already sent. The awkward moment happened yesterday, and yet the mind keeps returning to it, again and again. Hello and welcome to a weekend episode of Daily English, where we try to grow in English and in life. Today I want to talk about something many thoughtful people experience quietly. The brain keeps problems alive through rehearsal. Human beings naturally replay situations mentally, especially emotionally uncomfortable ones. Maybe you sent a message to someone and they replied coldly. The interaction lasted 2 minutes, but later that evening, your mind opens it. You replay their tone, your words, what you should have said, what they might think. The next morning, the mind returns to it again. And something important happens psychologically. The body reacts to the replay almost as if the situation is still happening. So, even though the event ended yesterday, the stress continues internally. This is why some people feel mentally exhausted without anything new actually happening. The mind keeps rehearsing the problem. And here is the important part. After a certain point, the rehearsal is no longer solving anything. It is only keeping the emotional state active. So, how do we deal with this practically? First, separate solving from replaying. Ask yourself, am I reaching new understanding right now or just repeating the same emotional loop? Because reflection creates clarity, but rehearsal often creates tension without progress. Second, convert mental activity into concrete action. For example, if you need to clarify something with someone, send a message. If you made a mistake, try to correct it. If action is possible, take it. But if no action is needed anymore, the mind may simply be replaying the situations to create a false feeling of control. Third, interrupt the loop physically. This is very practical. When you notice the replay beginning, stand up, move your body, shift environments, focus attention outward because mental rehearsal grows strongest when attention remains trapped internally. And finally, remind yourself of something simple. Thinking about a problem repeatedly is not always the same as processing it. Sometimes it is only reactivating it. So this weekend, notice something carefully. Which situations in your life are still truly unresolved? And which ones are mainly surviving through repetition? Because sometimes the problem is no longer happening in reality. It is happening in rehearsal. And peace occasionally begins when the mind stops reopening what life has already moved past. Thank you for being here today. Take care and see you tomorrow.